बिहारी
जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजना। यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण
कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे
कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे राम
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jai Subhadra Jaya Sudarshana Jaya Gaurangi Benglurishwara Gaurangi Benglurishwara Gaurangi
Jaya
Jaya Nitai Chaitanya Jaya Nitai Chaitanya Nitai Chaitanya Jaya Nitai Chaitanya Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Prahlad Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Devo Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtotra Sadasya Shri Madhava Charanaravindha Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Devo Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtotra Sadasya Shri Mad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर श्री नवद्वीप धाम की जय मथुरा धाम की जय द्वारका धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय गौर भक्त प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Hari Om Tat Sat. So Hare Krishna devotees, welcome for ISKCON Seshadripuram's morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. So today we will be, I've been asked to take up Srimad Bhagavatam. Fourth canto, 13th chapter, verse number 5 to 7. So fourth chapter is entitled The Creation of the Fourth Order, and the 13th chapter which we are in is actually called Description of the Descendants of Dhruva Maharaja. So let's read the three verses and the translation and purport wherever it is there and proceed from there. Yasta devarishina tatra varnita bhagavat kataha mahyam shushushave brahman kartash na chastum arhasi. Yah, which tha, all those, deva rishina, by the great sage Narada, tatra, there, varnitaha, narrated, bhagavat kataha, preaching pertaining to the activities of the Lord, mahyam, unto me, shushushave, very eager to hear, Brahman, my dear Brahmana, kartash yena, fully, achastum arhasi, kindly explain. Translation. and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear Brahmana, how did Narada Muni glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead? And what pastimes were described in that meeting? I am very eager to hear of them. Kindly explain fully about that glorification of the Lord. Purport. Srimad Bhagavatam is the record of Bhagavad Katha. Bhagavad Katha. Topics about the pastimes of the Lord. What Vidura was anxious to hear from Maitreya, we can also hear 5,000 years later, provided we are very eager. We'll go to the next verse, verse number 6. Maitreya Uvacha Durvasya Utkalaha Putraha Pitari Prashtite Vanam Sarvabhauma Shriyam Naichad Adi Rajas Asanam Pituhu. Word by word meaning. Maitreya Uvacha, the great sage Maitreya said, Dhruvasya of Dhruva Maharaja, Cha also, Utkalaha, Utkala, Putraha, son, Pitari, after the father, Prashtite, departed, Vanam, for the forest, Sarvabhauma, including all lands, Shriyam, opulence, Na Aichat, did not desire, Adi Raja, royal, Asanam, throne, Pituhu, of the father. Translation. The great sage Maitreya replied, My dear Vidura, when Maharaja Dhruva departed for the forest, his son Utkala did not desire to accept the opulent throne of his father, which was meant for the ruler of all the land of this planet. Let's read the last verse for today's discussion. Sa janmano pashantatma nihsangah samadarshanaha dadarsha loke vitatam atmanam lokam atmani. Word by word meaning. Sa, his son Utkala, janmana, from the very beginning of his birth, upashantha, very well satisfied, atma, soul, nihsangaha, without attachment, sama darshanaha, equipoised, dadashraha, dadarsha, saw, loke, in the world, vitatam, spread, atmanam, the super soul, lokam, all the world, atmani, in the super soul. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. From his very birth, Utkala was fully satisfied and unattached to the world. He was equipoised, for he could see everything resting in the super soul and the super soul present in everyone's heart. Purport. The symptoms and characteristics of Utkala, the son of Maharaja Dhruva, are those of a Mahabhagavata. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 6.30, Yo mam pashyanti sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati. A highly advanced devotee sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead everywhere, and he also sees everything resting in the Supreme. It is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.4, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. Lord Krishna is spread all over the universe in his impersonal feature. Everything is resting on him, but that does not mean that everything is he himself. A highly advanced Mahabhagavata devotee sees in this spirit. He sees the same super soul, Paramatma, existing within everyone's heart, regardless of discrimination based on the different material forms of the living entities. He sees everyone as part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Mahabhagavata, who experiences the Supreme Godhead's presence everywhere, is never missing from the sight of the Supreme Lord, nor is the Supreme Lord ever lost from his sight. This is possible only when one is advanced in love of Godhead. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु भयेवच पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमा ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरि ओम तत्सत। So now this chapter, the descendants of Dhruva Maharaja, is coming in after the chapter. Dhruva Maharaja goes back to Godhead. So uh, the section is such that we already saw the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaja very elaborately in the previous chapter or chapters. So now it's time, after 36,000 years of ruling this planet, Dhruva planet, he actually goes back to Godhead. That means here it's described he is going to the forest. And post to that, what happened? That is the discussion that is being seen in these chapters. So here, this whole thing is actually like Bhagavatam. We all know there are two narrations. This one is the second portion, that is the Saunaka Rishi and the that discussion is happening, where the narration is being told as heard in the disciplic succession. So the rishis are hearing and it is being narrated, and within that there is the sub story, or rather the sub history, where Maitreya Muni is instructing Vidura Mahatma. So there Vidura Mahatma is actually questioning Maitreya Muni on the pastimes of the Lord, and he is very eager to hear more and more of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the first verse, what we saw today, fifth verse, is about that, where he is asking, my dear Brahmana, how did Narada Muni glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and what pastimes were described in that meeting? I am very eager to hear of them. Kindly explain fully about that glorification of the Lord. And Prabhupada is, for that, simply he's writing on purport, which is like, a big statement, but a simple one-line purport, where he says, Srimad Bhagavatam is the record of Bhagavad Gita. Topics about the pastimes of the Lord. What Vidura was anxious to hear from Maitreya, we can also hear 5,000 years later, provided we are very eager. So this is a two-line purport by Prabhupada, but most powerful. So he's saying whatever Vidura heard from Maitreya, or for that matter, the discussion, the Sutta Goswami and the Saunaka rishis, and even between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. The names keep going off my head. So Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, first discussion. Then the second one, Saunaka Rishi. Then in that, the discussion of Maitreya Muni with Vidura. So there, it's the whole thing is actually captured in Srimad Bhagavatam, and therefore Prabhupada is writing what Sukadeva Goswami spoke, which Parikshit Maharaj heard. The same thing is available even now, 5,000 years later. All of that is available in Srimad Bhagavatam. So the entire Bhagavatam is the Lord Himself what do you call, we can call it as a scriptural incarnation of the Lord, that once he decided to uh, depart from earth, he decided, okay, let me be in the form of the incarnation, let me be incarnate in the form of the scripture. And that way, this entire pastime of Parikshit Maharaj, uh, you know, so, if I may say, insulting a rishi, which resulted in a curse by his son, that he will have to uh, die within 7 days, and then uh, the pastime of therefore he wanting to know what should I do in the next 7 days, what is the most important thing, what should be my priority, given that I clearly now know there is only 7 days in my life. So he consults many great personalities, each one saying so many things. But then uh, when at that point in time Sukadeva Goswami comes there, and then the decision was made that hearing about Harikatha, the Bhagavad Katha, is the best thing one can do before leaving the body, or which is the most priority for anyone's life. Nobody knows when I will leave. So what should be my priority? It should be to uh, uh, hear about the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, be situated in Krishna consciousness. We will also see, like, hearing Krishna or being with Krishna or chanting the holy name. How does it all translate into being with Krishna, or whatever that we will discuss during the course of these 3 verses discussion. So with that conclusion, he's sitting for 7 days and nights hearing Bhagavad Gita. So that is all completely recorded for all of us to see. And the same thing is available even now, today, for all of us, even in this Kali Yuga, in where things have become very, very, very bad. And nobody really knows, nobody can, here at least Parikshit Maharaj has 7 days clarity that, I'm leaving. Here in Kali Yuga, there's nothing like, someone can live up to old age. It's mentioned even in the previous yugas. Uh, like the father will never see the son die. Right? So the father will leave, and then the son will leave later only. So the father doesn't get to see his son die. But in Kali Yuga, there is nothing like that. There are fathers see children die. There are so many young people dying. Um, and the reasons for death you generally used to be old age, or some kind of things earlier, but today there are so many different things are given as the reason for a person's death. So in this situation, there is no guarantee or no timeline for anyone to even anticipate, okay, anyway I will live up to 70, let me see. That kind of a guarantee is not there. Therefore, all the more important than Parikshit Maharaj's time or Parikshit Maharaj's situation. Therefore, the idea is it is available, the same signs as given at 5,000 years back, it is available. So it's only that the devotees need to have the, Prabhupada is writing, the devotee should have the eagerness to read, provided we are very eager. So that is the only qualification. Do we have the eagerness to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Then the subject is amazing, and there is also the perfect, what do you call, in the parampara system, the knowledge available. So there is nothing that is distorted, that is nothing which is thrown away or added when we read Srila Prabhupada's commentaries to that Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is with regard to the first verse. Now, when it comes to the second verse, this one Prabhupada has not given any commentary, but the verse talks about uh, the position of his Dhruva Maharaj's son Utkala. So here it is written, after the great sage Maitreya replied, "My dear Vidura, when Maharaja Dhruva departed for the forest, his son Utkala did not desire to accept the opulent throne of his father, which was meant for the ruler of all the lands of this planet." So again, if you consider what is in offer for Utkala, so that Dhruva planet is not an ordinary planet, and his father, after ruling for 36,000 years, has vacated it and is giving it to him in a platter. Now, any materialistic Any person, anyone who gets that position would be looking to immediately occupy it and enjoy the opulence. I mean, you think about it. So many places, all the politics happening in today's world is all about the power, right? People are waiting, even though they know that maximum is 5 years, and because we mess up, it could be even 2 years, 1 year, whatever. And of course, there is also the nature's law of death and other things because of which we may vacate this planet itself altogether. But for that 5 years or maximum 5 years, if I may say so, you see the kind of uh, things people can go to. There are uh, things where people plot to kill the existing ruler. So many things we have seen in the history. There are sons killing the father because he wanted to take the throne, because father has been there for quite some time. Or I have I am in a hurry to take over and do the things, and therefore I kill my father. There are amazing history of great empires where the king has built such protection around that fort and all that. There is no, and for many years he's ruling. There is no way anyone can attack and kill him. But unfortunately, when he was actually sitting and meditating, this is one real past, the history of one king. I don't remember the name. But when he was sitting and doing his meditation or something, the son came from behind and killed him with a dagger, and the father died, and then the son took over the kingdom. So that is how people are so lusting for power and position and opulence. But here Utkala is not interested. He is simply saying, I just don't want to rule this planet. I am happy, uh, you know, to be in the spiritual state of affairs. So that was his mood. And therefore, Prabhupada, the Bhagavatam also writes, and therefore Prabhupada actually glorifies him in the very next verse. We can see that. The next verse, it says, from his very birth, Utkala was fully satisfied and unattached to the world. He was equipoised, for he could see everything resting in the super soul and the super soul present in everyone's heart. So that characteristics of Utkala, which is the reason for him not wanting to ascend this throne, having no attachment for the throne, is given in Srimad Bhagavatam itself, where he said he is satisfied right from and unattached right from his birth to the worldly affairs. He was equipoised and he could see everything resting in the super soul and the supreme super soul and the super soul present in everyone's heart. So this is the words of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada in his first line gives the highest uh, regard to Utkala by saying, the symptom and characteristics of Utkala, the son of Maharaja Dhruva, are those of a Mahabhagavata. So the Prabhupada is actually calling him a Mahabhagavata. So now, then Prabhupada goes on to talk about, how does a Mahabhagavata sees this material world. So he is quoting two verses, one from both from Bhagavad Gita, one from the 6th chapter and one from the 9th chapter. So we will try to understand what is the meaning of this one, where he says he was equipoised, for he could see everything resting in the super soul and the super soul present in everyone's heart. So this is what Utkala's nature was, how he was seeing the Supreme Lord, how he's associating with the Supreme Lord. I did mention in the earlier, right, thinking of Krishna or chanting of Krishna, hearing of Krishna. How does that all relate to that way? So here, how do you see Krishna everywhere in everything? And result of that, what is the result of that is also mentioned in one of those verses which Prabhupada is quoting from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. That also we will see. So Prabhupada is first quoting this verse 6.30, where he says, Yo mam pashyanti sarvatra sarvam cha mayi pashyanti. Let us see that one. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mayi pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sa cha me na pranashyati. And the translation is, for one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. So this is the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mayi pashyati. That means He sees me everywhere. And in everything. And I see him, therefore, also all the time. Prabhupada translate, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. So this is the position of a person who is able to see the super soul. Here in this verse, what we are discussing, it's mentioned that everything is resting in the super soul and the super soul present in everyone's heart. So that is mentioned. And here in this, this is generally like, we know of devotees can be classified into three types of devotees in terms of their elevation in Krishna consciousness. The first one is that Kanishta, then Madhyama and Uttama. Uttama Adhikari, they call it. And the Uttama Adhikari actually is in that position who does not distinguish whether one is a devotee, not a devotee, or what is his disposition generally. He does not see that. But a Madhyamadhikari, suppose, is been advised, you better keep to devotees association only. You be like, if you don't come in contact with too much of non-devotees, it is not favorable for you because you may get carried away and you may lose your devotion and all that stuff. But a Uttama Adhikari, for him, there is no such, what do you call, lack of steadiness. He is at a state where whomever he comes with, one who is a complete, what do you call, atheist, but such person can also be influenced by the Uttama Adhikari, not the other way around. So the Kanishta Adhikari and the other Madhyam Adhikari, they need to be careful, like, so that they don't, the Kanishta Adhikari more so, the Madhyam Adhikari also, but they at least have a good understanding of philosophy. They can defend themselves. But still, if the demon is the other side is too big, it is difficult for them also to comprehend. Their faith may get shaken. But this Uttama Adhikari is at that level always in touch with Krishna. He always sees Krishna and Krishna is never lost to him. And similarly, Krishna also doesn't leave him alone. So this combination is there. So for him, he is always in a state of Vrindavan. So Prabhupada, we all know, wherever he went, he was not afraid, that, oh, I am a sannyasi and I need to be in Vrindavan. Sometimes he would say, oh, I would go to Vrindavan and leave. But then that was just, not a serious statement. Wherever he, even at that last moment when he was in really sick, he said, now I want to, he was not even like, he was like a bundle of bones only, literally. But at that stage, he slightly recovered kind of thing. And he said, I want to now go to England, make arrangements for that. That is when he was in Vrindavan. So he came back, he was not well, he came back. Because that Vrindavan atmosphere is favorable for his recovery. So he said, I will go to Vrindavan so that I can recover. So he went there. But he was really in bad shape. If you really look at it, there are so many videos of him in Vrindavan, you can see. Even that palanquin where he was carried by there, it is still there in Vrindavan. He was like just a simple small basket he can be carried. That much only he was. The only bones, nothing was there. But at that stage, he said, now make arrangements for me to go to England. And disciples were, how can we carry you in this state to England? But he said, no, I will go. But he did go to England. So he was not that, I need to be, in a sacred place or something. Wherever he was, that was a sacred place. And that was Vrindavan. Because he was carrying Krishna in his heart. So that is the situation of all these pure devotees, that they carry Krishna in their heart all the time and they see Krishna everywhere. So here it is mentioned, Prabhupada writes, that, he writes, when person is in that mood, like when he sees Krishna everywhere and in everything he sees Krishna, what is his position is? A position transcendental even to material liberation. That position is transcendental even to material liberation. And he says, at this stage of Krishna consciousness, beyond self-realization, the devotee becomes one with Krishna in the one with Krishna in the sense that Krishna becomes everything for the devotee and that the devotee becomes full in loving Krishna. And he further writes, an intimate relationship between the Lord and the devotee then exists. In that stage, the living entity can never be annihilated, nor is the personality of Godhead ever lost out of sight of the devotee. To merge in Krishna is spiritual annihilation. A devotee takes no such risks. So, when you say he becomes one with me and he's never lost to me, those statements should not be misinterpreted to think that you merge with that supreme being, whatever that is. That is not what is meant here. It is very clearly said that you don't merge, but you are completely aligned to that supreme personality of Godhead. There's a difference between become one means to merge and the other one is completely aligned. So when we say like when two persons are there and one person is able to completely think in line with the other person, we can, that's general common material way of some we both are almost one. We think alike like that. So that is what is meant here in the sense that we become one with Krishna means we are completely aligned to his thoughts, his completely disposed to the way Krishna thinks. And therefore, there is no difference. That means we are completely becoming part and parcel of that Lord, even though retaining our individual identity. That is very important. So that is being very mentioned, and Prabhupada is writing there. He's saying it is stated in the Brahma Samhita. He's quoting that famous verse: "Prema janachurita bhakti vilochanena santas sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. Yam shama sundaram achintya gunaswarupam govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami." I worship that primeval Lord Govinda, who is always seen by the devotees whose eyes are anointed with the pulp of love. He is seen in his eternal form of Shama Sundara situated within the heart of the devotee. So that is the point we are discussing. Such a person sees that Shama Sundara in everyone, and therefore he sees Krishna everywhere. Not only in everyone, in everything, because that Lord is actually completely there in the entire universe, right? He penetrates into the universe, and therefore the universe is activated. So everything there, be it mountains, trees, or the other living entities, everywhere the Lord is penetrated. Therefore, such a person actually is completely peaceful, EQ pious, because he sees Krishna everywhere, everything. He does not differentiate. Oh, this person is a devotee. He's not a devotee. He's a someone who's not favorable to me. Because these Uttama Adhikaris, they don't take offense even when someone does some uh, material way of thinking that he's offensive towards me. But he does not see that offense. He simply sees that that is just the body, and inside that is the supreme personality of Godhead, or super soul to be very precise. And therefore, I don't see that this person is actually acted against me or anything. It is just that I am supposed to get it and I am getting it, and this body is just an instrument in me getting it. So he does not take offense to the other person. He looks at him as a way of Krishna giving him some kind of a treatment to purify him. That's how the Uttama Adhikari sees. So there is no complaints, there is no, what do you call, negative feelings. Uh, for both someone who's very favorable, someone who's very unfavorable, they don't look at it that way. They look at it as that, oh, this person is doing this to me. No, this is Krishna's mercy on me, either what we materially perceive as good or bad, but that is Krishna's mercy on me. If it is bad also, it is to purify. It is good also, again Krishna's mercy that he's making things favorable for me. That is the way they see it. So here Utkala is such a personality is what we are actually discussing, and then we are getting more deeper based on Prabhupada's purport to see what is that position of seeing Krishna everywhere and in everything. Okay, so now that is being written. So he says at this stage, Lord Krishna never disappears from the sight of the devotee, nor does the devotee ever lose sight of the Lord. In the case of the yogi who sees the Lord as Paramatma within the heart, the same applies. Such a yogi turns into a pure devotee and cannot bear to live for a moment without seeing the Lord within himself. So this is actual definition of a yogi. Someone who is calling himself or herself a great perfect yogi, then they should actually be able to see the Paramatma inside the heart, because that is the ultimate goal of yoga system, where the person can actually see the position, the Lord physically, Paramatma inside the heart. And once you take darshan of the Paramatma, what else you will need, right? You are always keen to see that Paramatma all the time. And that is the actual yogi, not a yogi who's impersonal, who's not able to see the Paramatma, only he can become impersonal, right? If he sees the Lord and he sees the form of the Lord, how can he become impersonal? So such a pure, real yogi will be actually Krishna conscious. So that's what Prabhupada is writing, that he will become a devotee and cannot bear to live for a moment without seeing the Lord within himself. So this is important, that ultimately everything is Krishna conscious. And it's about the person who's able to come to that point of seeing everything in Krishna, or seeing Krishna everywhere. So that is being mentioned. And the next verse, but Prabhupada is quoting, is the 9th chapter, 6th verse, 5th verse. And that one, let's read that. No. Yeah, 9th chapter, 4th verse. Sorry. That verse is also famous. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matstani sarva bhutani na chaham teshvi avastitaha. So here the translation is, by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So this is the further extension, that, okay, the Lord you are seeing everywhere and in everything. Therefore, is the Lord actually here only? That is being addressed here. And all of this we are discussing in the context of this Srimad Bhagavatam verse that we are discussing, 4:39, where it is said he was equipoised, for he could see everything resting in the super soul and the super soul present in everyone's heart. That is the verse that we are discussing. And in that context, what we are discussing also, that if he is present everywhere and uh, as super soul and in everyone's heart, how is he doing that? That question is there. That means, is he personally sitting, in one sense? Is that the question? So here it is mentioned, by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So that explanation is given. And Prabhupada in that verse it is quoting, Atashri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet Grahyam Indriyehi Sevon Mukehi Jivhadau Swayam Eva Spurati Adaha. Lord Sri Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, etc. cannot be understood by material senses. Only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance is he revealed. Again, he is quoting Prema Janacharita Bhakti Vilochanena. So that point, who can come to this platform of Brahman? Right? Brahman, there Prabhupada is mentioning, one who is transcended the three modes of material nature. Then he comes to the point of Brahman. That Brahman stage is basically a stage where it is qualitatively one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in that stage, one is getting the qualification to perform devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is written, I'm quoting from elsewhere from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This concept was explained. Daivihi esha gunamayi mama maya duratya. There is one verse that also Prabhupada links in that discussion, where he is saying, how can you come above the three modes of material nature? Is by actually serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By doing that, getting over the three modes of material nature becomes so very simple, it is mentioned. Otherwise, it is very difficult. Mama Maya Durateya. It is very, very difficult. But one who is actually taking up to the process of bhakti yoga, for him, this process become very easy. And in that stage, he can attain to that position of Brahman. And in the Brahman platform, you can actually worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here also, that point is Premanjana Churita, how you can come to, you have to be anointed with the love of God. It means you should be in Bhakti Yoga to come to this point of love of God. So everything is so very nicely linked. And if we simply follow the process, we can be, that is available. That's what in the first verse we saw, right? This is what is available 5,000 years back. That is clearly available even now to all these jivas in this material world of Kali Yuga. Therefore, all we need to do is endeavor following the acharya, following spiritual master's instruction, and try our best. And Prabhupada's guarantee is there that we can make it back to Godhead even in this very life. So, in this verse, a few things more we can discuss. And Prabhupada is talking about this avyakta murtinaha, that means in his unmanifested form. But actually, although we cannot see him, everything is resting in him. As we have discussed in the 7th chapter, the entire material cosmic manifestation is only a combination of his two different energies, the superior energy and the superior spiritual energy and the inferior material energy. Just as the sunshine is spread all over the universe, the energy of the Lord is spread all over the creation, and everything is resting in that energy. So he's saying, so how is the Lord pervaded everywhere, sitting as Paramatma? But that is not his original position. He is in Goloka Vrindavan. And he's like, Prabhupada writes in many places, like sometimes the Lord, everything is resting in me means people visualize in Greek, there is Atlas. There is one god called Atlas. So he is standing like this in an athletic form, and in his hand is carrying the globe. So Prabhupada writes, it is not like Krishna is just trying, carrying this globe in his hand. That when you say it is resting in me, this is a different understanding where Krishna is actually resting in me means Krishna does not mean that he is carrying it with so much weight on my shoulder. Oh, it's so painful to carry this. No. Krishna is in that Goloka Vrindavan actually happily enjoying with his devotees, with his pure devotees, that exchange of the rasas. That is happening with Krishna. He is the supreme king, supreme enjoyer. Why will he be laboring hard to carry the weight and do all these things? He is there enjoying nicely with all his pure devotees. But how does he pervade everywhere is what is the discussion here. How does he pervade is basically through his potency. That means his capacity or his energy in which everything is floating. So that example of the sun is there, but we can feel his energy here. And the sun, if he wants, he can burn us here. He does not have to come physically to come and burn us here. His energy is all over there. He can burn us. We are seeing now slowly the temperatures is rising all over the world and people are suffering, right? And this is very clearly there. The sun is not anywhere definitely nearby here, but how is it that we are feeling him? How we are feeling his effects on us? That is his energy. So if that is possible, which we can physically see with our eyes and experience that, what is the problem in understanding that Krishna is a person and he has so much energy and that energy is actually controlling everything? What is the problem? Because this impersonalists have this problem. How can a person, if he has a form, it is very limited, and in that limited form, how he can reach out to different places? Oh, if someone is offering boga, how he will take it with his hand? So he cannot have a form, then it is limiting. That is how they think. But they are not able to understand the sun can reach out to millions of miles away. This is a material thing. And how cannot the Supreme Lord reach out even if he has a form? Sun has a form, but he's still reaching out here. But why can't the Supreme Lord reach out even if he has a form? This is simple logic. But somehow the impersonalists do not understand this. So he is actually sitting there in Goloka Vrindavan enjoying with his devotees, but his energies is completely having control of. So everyone can only be under the control of the Lord, either under the material control or under his spiritual control. But you cannot be outside of these two, of the Lord's control. Only under these two energies of the Lord that we can be there. So this kind of Utkala kind of pure devotees, they are able to see how there's nothing that is beyond this Lord. So I have nothing to worry. Like I am in complete control of the Lord, whatever happens. It is nothing new. It is nothing like, oh, how it is a surprise. How can this happen? No, everything can happen and everything is happening perfectly under the control of the Lord. Nothing happens. Sometimes some calamities hit us also. Then people gets disillusioned. Oh, I didn't expect this to happen. How can this happen to me? I am a devotee. No. Oh, is there something out of control of the Lord that, I am a devotee, this should not happen to me, but this has happened. We get agitated. Everything is happening perfectly under the control of the Lord with His complete knowledge. Nothing is by chance. It happens like, oh, that went out of control. That spiraled out of control. We used to say that in our material things. Yesterday also some very unfortunate thing happened. Many people in Bangalore left their bodies because the event happened and things were unpredicted. They say so many people turned out and things went out of control. But this entire cosmic manifestation is controlled by the Lord. In this entire cosmic manifestation, nothing goes out of control. So the Lord is wherever planets are revolving, sometimes planets are crashing. It is not out of control. It is completely under control and it is as per the plan of the Lord. Everything is happening. So when a pure devotee is clearly under that understanding, he is not shaken at all. He is completely equipoised. Oh, yes, this is the Lord's will. It's fine. And Prabhupada, I mean, how can we not think of Prabhupada as a pure devotee and see those examples of Prabhupada? He perfectly demonstrated that. He was never at all, it's also, I mean, a pure Vaishnava has no fear. Prabhupada had no fear. There are so many things. There were times when, Prabhupada was coming, traveling, and, he had to, I think, Singapore. So he was in Singapore morning. That flight, after a long flight, the flight landed in Singapore, and he has another flight to catch. And Prabhupada was feeling like, I traveled for so long as sannyasi, a perfect pure devotee. He always wants to be in spick and span thing, properly taken bath. It doesn't matter, oh, I am traveling 24 hours, so I cannot take bath. No, he does not care. He says, I am a devotee, I will be like that. So he goes there in Singapore, those days, it's almost 1970s we are talking about. So he goes to there, one restroom is there, and there's one small tap. Prabhupada takes his devotee, his disciple, they have carry a cup or something like that. So Prabhupada takes that cup and says, get that water there, and he starts taking bath there only. Right? That too, imagine in Singapore. In India, we can see people somewhere taking bath in the Prabhupada. And this devotee was very uncomfortable. He was saying, what will happen now? The people will come and apprehend us that this is a very modern world. We cannot do such things here. Prabhupada never bothered. And there were people complaining that one who maintains and all that. And he was frightened. Oh, what will happen now? Will we be arrested or something? Prabhupada never had fear. He says, and when this whatever the housekeeper and all, he was complaining, Prabhupada completely ignored him. He did not respond to that. This devotee was uncomfortable. He was trying to talk to him, answer him or whatever, but Prabhupada completely ignored. After that, they are coming back and Prabhupada casually mentioned, yeah, I know, but what we can do? I have to take bath. It's not that Prabhupada did not recognize that man, but he understood, this is to be done and I don't fear anybody. This has to be done. I am doing. Okay. I mean, I'm not going into the nitty gritties of, in Singapore, can we do or not do? But a pure devotee is not in material world. He's, that person, whoever was there, was so blessed actually that after Prabhupada takes bath, he can clean that place. To serve a pure devotee, he's very blessed to have got that opportunity. That's a different thing. He may not realize that, but pure devotees are pure devotees. They are always in Goloka Vrindavan consciousness, not in this material consciousness. So Utkala is such a great personality, and Prabhupada is writing, he's a Maga Bhagavata. Utkala, the son of Dhruva Maharaj. So that is about today's class. So we were fortunate to talk about a Maga Bhagavata, and of course, uh, uh, you know, we also touched about other Mahabhagavatas of Vidura, Maitreya. and of course our Srila Prabhupada. So thank you for this opportunity to talk about these great personalities. I will end here. If there are any questions or comments, welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question normally a devotee or maybe any material person also, they suffer due to their karmic reactions, isn't it, Prabhuji? Whatever it is, So, the karmic reactions, whatever they suffer, is because of their past deeds.
Yes.
So, does Krishna intervene here also, Prabhu, sometimes, or no?
Krishna generally does not intervene, but if you are a devotee, Krishna may choose to intervene, because see, Krishna can do anything. So while that karma principle is being set up by Krishna, that energy is automatically working for all the jivas. So that is also the hand of Krishna. That is the point that we need to understand. If I am to be murdered, it is not without sanction of Krishna. So I get murdered by the sanction of Krishna. Without Krishna's murder, that's why Prabhupada writes, right? Not right. There's one Hindi saying, I may not be good in talking that. It says, what is that? Krishna, there's one, no. Krishna wants to kill. Rake Krishna Mare Krishna Rake ke. He says, now if Krishna wants to kill, nobody can protect. And if Krishna wants to protect, nobody can, kill. So that means everything is under control. This karma is also a principle which is resting in Krishna, and therefore that happens with the sanction of Krishna, good and bad to us. But again, in the same coin, if Krishna wants some karma not to happen for us, again he has that ability to do it. He says, no, sarva dharman parityaja mamekam charanam bhaja aham tvam sarva papebhya moksheshami, which means my karma is there, but Krishna is saying, I will remove that karma. Aham tvam sarva papebhya mokshe. That means your papa is your karma, but aham tvam sarva papebhya moksheshami. I will remove that sin for you. So Krishna can intervene for sure. Then the question comes, I am a devotee, therefore should Krishna intervene all the time? No. But one thing we should know, Prabhupada is always saying, if you are a devotee and if you get something bad, you should understand that actually I should have got much more than that. As per my karma, I should have gone much more than that. But Krishna is so merciful that he has given me less pain only. Because that sample has to be there, right? It's for example, Prabhupada, when he was cooking, he cut his finger. Little blood was coming. So he immediately said, I am so grateful, Krishna. I should have lost my hand. But Krishna took it by giving a small sample by just cutting my little finger and little blood. And that karma he has taken away. So that is how devotees understand that we don't expect, Krishna, why I got that little cut in my hand? No, Krishna, you saved me from my hand going away. That is the mood in which we are supposed to see this, and that is real also. So I had something else coming to my mind somehow. It just flashed and it left. Okay, that is also the will of Krishna. Maybe that I don't speak it. Okay, so that's the point, Prabhu. That there is one story. Now I got it back. There is one story of a pure devotee of Krishna. This is in Jagannath Puri, I think, and the pastime of Lord Jagannath. So this devotee was so pure, and he was having literally audience with Krishna. So he was now in such a sick state of affairs, and Krishna was coming to clean his excretion, everything. He was like in deathbed, and his mala, everything Krishna was cleaning. And he said, "What, Krishna? What are you doing? You are the Supreme Lord, and I am your devotee, and we are friends. Like we are in talking terms, and my body is going through this, and you are what do you call this? Krishna is what? The mukti giver, right? He is a mukti giver, but here you are not taking me out of this body and taking me back, but you are cleaning my mala. What is this?" So Krishna told him, "You have a little bit of a karma, so I thought I will help you get over that." So Krishna can choose to do either take you away, but at the same time help us go through that karma also. That is his complete free will. We cannot say, "Oh, I am a devotee, you need to take me out of this situation. No. But fact is, he's actually carrying us. When we are in difficult times, actually we should have been in more difficulty. But he's carrying us. That does answer your question, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Very clearly, Prabhu. Thanks a lot, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Chandra. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so with this, we end here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai. Thank you all for attending this session and bearing with me. Hare Krishna. I'll end the session for you.